Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sunday Show. I hope everybody had a great day. Before we get started, let me see if I can hear myself on on YouTube. I can. So, let's start off how we usually start off. There are 82 days until the NFL season kicks off. 82 days. And I forgot this. Happy Juneteenth to all of us that celebrate Juneteenth. And of course, today is Father's Day. I would be remiss if I did not wish all the fathers out there happy Father's Day. We have a really good show. Hopefully, I won't go on and on like I did yesterday because I went a little long yesterday. Um, so I am going to pay some bills here. Um, and then kind of tell you what to expect from the show. Let's see. First, hit that subscribe button. We are at 426. That means we have 74 subscribers to go until we hit that magic number of 500. Help us to get to that 500. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell the guy down the street, as in the words of Phil Davidson, famous politician, hit the ground running, come out swinging, and end up winning. Help us to get to 500 subscribers. Subscribing is literally free. Um, really appreciate that. Support me on Patreon. Patreon support is help. Let me push that over here. Patreon support helps me to buy better equipment. It helps me realize my dream of getting an actual desk with an actual microphone. So I'm not always jumping on my bed. I'm in like a dedicated room, which would be my big walk-in closet. Um, um, please do that. GoFundMe can support my GoFundMe campaign. It's a campaign I started to get some personal issues taken care of. And lastly, and finally, Thea's already said it. Please donate 5,000. 5,000. Yes, 5,000. Please donate 5,000. But if you can't donate five, our church drama called a cat, which makes wait a minute, hold on a second. So contribute to the First Baptist Church North drama. It should be Academy. I'll change that next week. Academy takes it to a year-round thing instead of just a summer thing. We'll still do the summer production, but now we're going to be concentrating on making this a year-long ministry instead of a yeah, I know I must be freezing. I don't know what's going on. It's raining. It's raining, so hopefully I can get through this. Um, but help us. And that means the fundraising goal is going to go up from 3,500 to probably around, it'll most likely double to 7,000. So just keep that in mind. And then please remind us to donate $5 to the church camp. Buy these babies some water and some snacks and some t-shirts and a lot of other stuff. Thank you for telling me I'm freezing. You must didn't get your link or you're busy celebrating Father's Day. That's fine. And I'm glad that I'm doing better. So this show, I'm not going to say that I won't take long because yesterday I thought, okay, this is going to be a short show. I'm going to talk about variety shows. I'm going to go quick. And boy, I ended up at an hour and 10 minutes. I don't know how I talked that long, but I did. So I'm not going to promise you all this will be a short show. I will try to do my best to make it a short show. We're going to talk about the shooting and killing of Cohen Wiley. Um, that is the infant, baby that was killed in Mississippi, and the fallout. Oh well, yeah. Then stay at home. Don't come on this show because nope, can't have that. Um, we'll talk about Cohen Wiley, the child in Mississippi that was gunned down by police. Um, we'll talk about my thoughts about the presidential center, the one that was um just dedicated Thursday. I'm going to talk about the Iran, the memorandum of understanding that I knew that was going to get broke. And I think everybody knew that Israel wasn't going to come to the table. And then finally, I'm going to talk about something that's kind of close to me. It's like, where are our priorities? And it kind of goes with the Obama Museum store. So let's get started. I'm going to bring up some videos here. Um, hold on just a moment. I'm trying to kind of set this up. So Cohen Riley, a 1-year-old baby, let me hear it. Um, was fatally shot June the 14th in Sentoba, Mississippi, fired when police opened fire on a fleeing vehicle. So this took place at a Walmart. So apparently Walmart calls the police saying that a person stole diapers. And they called the police, and the police say that the driver initially was the mother, but they found out it was someone else. Um, the police claim the driver moved in their direction, although the mother in the car says she was moving in a totally different direction. Um, so the I'm gonna play the clip first and then kind of come back with my thoughts here. I'm trying to find it in the back here. Let's see. And then I'm going to talk about the protests. Um, da, 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 da. Uh, gotta get this past this. No, wait a minute. That's the wrong one. Um, that's the wrong one. That's the do 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 protests officers, and I'm really trying to find this one because that's the protest. That's what I want to talk about later. Um, because they really did the way they set this up. I was just all the way mad about it, and I'm gonna find this. Um, that's the mother. That's still the mother. Um, police crew. Okay, here we go. They keep okay, so they have a whole bunch of videos. Okay, here. Okay, so finally got the right one. Um, sorry about that, guys. I was like, wait a minute, I know. Oh, and this clip is by Well, if I could find it. Oh my gosh, don't say I lost it. Don't say I lost it. No. Are you for real serious? Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. This makes no sense, guys. I'm so angry. Oh, okay. So try this again. So we'll start this from the beginning.
A family in Mississippi is begging for answers after police shot and killed their 1-year-old son. And this was all over a shoplifting accusation. This happened at a Walmart in Senatobia, which is in the northern part of the state near Memphis. A woman was shot and is in critical condition tonight. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation says officers were called to the store about a shoplifting case, and they saw 2 adults and that child running from the store into a car. They say the driver nearly hit an officer, which is when they opened fire. The family's now demanding answers.
All we know is that a car was shot up and a 1-year-old baby was killed. And then nobody tells us anything, like we're not anybody.
Whatever the incident may have come to, it still didn't need for you to shoot 2 adults and a baby that was not even a threat to you.
Police say they are still investigating the incident, but committed to transparency.
So here's what we know so far. Okay, so of course they gave you the basic facts. Apparently there's body cam footage that has not been released. And I'm wondering why it hasn't been released. And I'm going to say this, and it's not going to be popular, but this is how I feel. Let's just say they did steal the diapers. They stole them. They stole them. Is that really worth killing a baby over? Is that a cause for gunfire? You could have just like taken their pictures and said this person is wanted. You could have, what would make these officers point a gun in a car and shoot? And apparently the mother, and I'll play you the mother's response here in just a moment. So, like, think about that. They shot in the car. And well, like I said, I'll let the mother tell what she saw. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay, so a minute. I'll I'll tell you what the mother. I'm not even videos. Yeah, so we're gonna play this one. This is from WJTV, and I'm gonna let this whole thing play. I'm just going past the commercials.
A 1-year-old boy killed in a police-involved shooting in Senatobia is now speaking out. Cohen Wiley was shot Sunday outside a Walmart after MBI says officers responded to a shoplifting call. Investigators say the driver of the car nearly hit an officer before shots were fired, but Cohen's mother says that is not what happened. 1-year-old Cohen Wiley was inside a car outside a Senatobia Walmart when he was shot Sunday. His mother, Valencia Wiley, says she, her son, and a friend were leaving Walmart when police stopped the other woman who was accused of shoplifting. Wiley says she got into the passenger seat of her friend's car while holding her baby.
By the time me and my baby got in the car, she came, and then when we was backing up, they was running out the car. I raised my baby up because they withdrew their gun. She had no tent. I raised my baby up trying to show them that he was in the car. So she was backing up and she hit a car. As I was opening the door, so the door flew back in. By the time I sat my baby down, it was like 3 to 4 shots.
Wiley says one of those shots hit her son.
One of the shots hit him in his rib cage, and the other shots hit her in her arm and her thigh. And we left and went to Senatobia hospital where he was pronounced dead.
MBI tells us officers tried to stop the 2 women and a child as they left the store and got into a car. MBI says the driver drove toward an officer, nearly hitting them, before at least one officer fired a shot. But Wiley says that is not what happened.
But they tried to say that she forcefully was trying to drive and hit them, but they was all on the right side, and she was driving towards the left. They just personally just shot in the car.
The officer who fired the shot has been placed on administrative leave. That officer has not been publicly identified, and body camera video has not been released. Meanwhile, National Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump and Attorney Van Turner have announced they are representing Cohen's family. The shooting also led to a protest Tuesday evening at the Walmart, where Tate County deputies used tear gas to break up the crowd. Valencia says she has not been charged with any crime. Meanwhile, others in the community say the crime doesn't justify the shooting.
They didn't charge me. They ain't charged me with nothing. They just let me go.
But my position is, if she had walked out of there with every pamper in the store, that did not elevate the situation to shooting a gun.
As the Senatobia community awaits answers, there are calls for unity, transparency, and accountability.
Okay, so apparently there's a lot more police. Absolutely. They're trigger happy. There was no, like that minister said, there was no reason. If she had stole everything in that store, there was no reason to shoot inside the car. You saw the baby, according to what the mother said. You saw her hold up the baby. You could have tear gassed the car. You could have thrown tear gas in that car and not shot anybody. But you chose to use violence, use gun violence to kill a baby. A baby. This child will never see his 10th birthday. He will never go to school. He will never graduate from high school. He'll never graduate from college. He'll never have a family of his own because some trigger happy coward cop decided to shoot first and ask questions later. And this has to stop. This has to stop. Their only crime was being Black, because apparently from reporting that I'm hearing, the person in critical condition was the one accused of stealing the diapers and actually had a receipt. Pardon me, guys, my shoulder is itching. I just don't get it. I keep saying the same thing over and over again because it's so nobody had cameras, nobody saw her paying for it. And like I said, even if she didn't pay for it, you could have I don't see a link, so it isn't my fault. Just saying. Yes, you do. Look in your email. Oh, that was from yesterday. I did not send you a link. If you want it, I can send it. You tell me if you want me to send it to you, I'll send it to you. If not, that's okay. Um, that was an overreaction. It was an overreaction. Like I said, you could have used tear gas. You could have thrown tear gas in the car. You would have had to fire off any shots. They would have been disabled. Yes, there would have been the baby would have been uncomfortable, but the baby would still be alive. This, and you got somebody in critical condition. This is just And I don't understand why the police are so hesitant. Okay, so you want me to send, hold on a second, guys. I'm sending these a link here. Cause I gotta like push this out to somebody else because it's not making sense to me why you gonna sit here and think, oh, it's okay to shoot in a car. She's holding the baby up. She's literally saying, hey, um, this is my child. This is a baby. Don't shoot. And you decide, trigger happy police cop, hey, I'm gonna just go ahead and shoot anyway. I don't care. I don't I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. Really? That's your response. Again, I agree with the minister that spoke. If she had stolen every diaper in that facility, you still can't shoot in a car. There's other ways to stop someone robbing a place. Again, there's tear gas. That's an option. There's putting those little things that they punch holes in the tires. There's that. You, oh, this is a baby that was shot for the crime of being black. That's essentially why this child is dead, because he was black. And it's really another example of a cop that just wasn't vetted properly, um, wasn't properly trained to think, oh, gee, let me shoot in a car with a baby in it. I mean, she said, I held the baby up. So she holds the baby up so he can see there's a baby, and you think, gee, let me shoot at this baby because apparently babies are dangerous now. I mean, this is what we're going with. And you're delaying the release of the body cam image. Why? What does that body cam image show? I bet you it shows that she held that baby up. Bet you it shows that. I bet you it shows that she held that baby up just like she said. And you all don't want it to be released. And shame on, okay, so I'm going to shame Walmart not for calling the police. Because if you believe there's a robbery, well, one, you should have security in the store, but you have to call the police. So I'm not going to shame them for just that. But the tear gas that they use for the protesters, oh, y'all foul for that. Oh, y'all foul for that. Y'all real foul for that. That's some BS. That is some BS. Just what? You decide that using tear gas is the way to go? Um, and I'm just gonna play it. Protest about I'm doing a lot of screen sharing tonight. But um let me see if I can find it. Hope you got it. Did you get it? You should have. Looks like, did I send it? I sure did. Um, I'm trying to find this clip. Yeah, I'm trying to find this clip. Trying to find this clip really, really, really fast. Yeah, here we go. Or this is from RAL. So okay, so we're gonna try this, y'all, and see what I'm talking about. He must not have gotten the clip. Let's get this shared. Oh, there we go, right there.
Involved need to be held accountable. I'm not giving up until I get justice.
Sunday afternoon, a 1-year-old boy killed after a shooting outside Walmart in Senatobia, where a law enforcement officer fired shots at the vehicle with the child inside. Family waited outside the hospital, anxious for information about another family member who was critically injured.
I don't know anything right now. My grandson gone. I just want justice.
The police department not telling us anything. They removed the baby's body without anybody seeing it.
The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation says officers responded to a shoplifting call at the Walmart where they saw 2 adults and the child fleeing from the store into this vehicle. The driver then drove in the direction of the officers, nearly hitting one of them. That's when one officer fired shots at the car.
Policeman shot, open fire in a public setting over allegedly some Pampers.
I'm more angry because the situation that took place really was unnecessary. What I'm hearing from what happened, it was unnecessary.
Now the victim's family is demanding answers from law enforcement as to how this happened.
All we know is that a car was shot up and a 1-year-old baby was killed. And then nobody tells us anything, like we're not anybody.
Someone need to be held accountable for it. It's just not right.
MBI says they are assessing and gathering evidence on this incident and will share their findings once the investigation is complete.
Whatever the incident may have come to, it still didn't need for you to shoot 2 adults and a baby that was not even a threat to you.
Justice will be served. If it has anything to do with me, it will be served.
Was this really necessary right here? Really, Walmart? Really? Like, nobody in that crowd had a gun, and you're sitting here, look at these people. Are you kidding me? Was this really necessary? Oh, then they pushed off the tear gas. That's tear gas going. And really? Was this really necessary for y'all to call in this unit? All those residents, find another place to go. Find another place to go, because that's some. Oh, there he is. Hello, Theus. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so ready to cuss people out. I can't no more.
Yeah.
A baby. A baby.
You. Yeah, thank you for allowing me to join with you. So, yes, this is a baby, but I'm going to ask people to do something a little bit different here. So, I'm going to ask what I often ask, to back away for just a little bit, zoom out a little bit, and look at the bigger picture. So, because if you don't, here's the reason why I say this, because if you don't, you will get sucked into what I call rhetorical fetch, where you will present an argument and the powers that be will throw a bunch of whataboutisms at you and get you off on a tangent to where now you're arguing about why the baby wasn't in a car seat, or why, or if you weren't stealing, then you wouldn't have had this issue. And I want to caution people from doing that. And the reason why is because, one, I will not take as a given that these people were stealing anything. Okay. So you must prove that. I strongly advocate that whenever, I don't even care how egregious the alleged crime is, whenever the police or law enforcement says something happened, I need you to have the same level of what's it called, incredulity or doubt that they have when the victim is one of us, right?
Mhm.
The power structure, the general community out there will say things like, well, we don't know what happened before the video started, or where's the father, or any number of things to get you off track. So I'm saying use that same energy, bring that same energy back. So they're saying that these people were stealing. Prove it. That's one. Prove it. And the only way you can prove it is in court. I don't want you proving it in the streets. And what will happen is they will begin to try this mother who lost her baby and this other person who was, by what I just heard, shot two times. And they will put them on trial in the public square. The law enforcement community will put them on trial in the public square, which is completely opposite to what the police should do. The police should never discuss an ongoing active case in public. When the interests fit them, when it's one of their officers, notice they're quiet. We have to do our investigation. We have to look into all the facts.
Right.
Well, if that's the case, hold that same standard for this mother and this other person. Innocent or guilty, it doesn't matter. So I strongly encourage, especially us, back up. Don't get sucked into this, okay? Because there may be some facts that we don't know that can end up turning things upside down.
Now, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you. However, because I wondered about the receipt too, I was like, well, is there some type of document? So, according to the family and civil rights attorneys, the mother has a digital receipt. So, when you go into Walmart, you can get a receipt text to your phone.
Correct.
Usually they have people at the entrance, like when you leave.
Right, as you're leaving.
Sometimes they'll have the person like check the cart, not for diapers, but yeah. So they're
Whatever you
saying
want.
this receipt, yeah, they are saying that there is a receipt. My contention is even if she sold it, even if she
I
did it,
agree.
which I don't think she did, you don't shoot in a car. Period. There are other ways to stop a moving vehicle other than I'm gonna take a gun and just shoot up.
I agree, but you're getting sucked into the narrative. I'm saying none of that ultimately should be being played out in public if this was a legitimate situation. Because if it was any other situation, they would be mum's the word on any details. So if the family says we have a receipt, great. That's the family talking. But there should not be a narrative from the police about what has happened in any definitive terms because there's no way they've done a full investigation.
No,
So,
not this quick.
so that's why I'm saying zoom out and look at the game that's being played. Because at the end of the day, this baby's gone. Can't get him back. So this is sad to say it this way. It's just one more loss. So now you got to decide, how do you want to play this? How do you address this? Right? You will never get justice for this baby.
Mm-mm.
You won't, no matter what happens. We all know how this plays out anyway. Even if they determine that the officer did not behave properly in the line of duty, they will say it was a split-minute decision and they'll relieve him of duty or something of that nature. But that is still, losing your job is not the same as justice.
Well, he'll just go to another county and get another job someplace else.
Perhaps, but what I'm saying is none of that is what should be driving us at this moment. Because there's something about how Black people are viewed in this nation to where a property crime is worth taking our lives.
Yep.
I managed in a retail space. The fact that these people allegedly did whatever they're claiming that they did and made it to the parking lot, it's over. Okay? Everything in that store is insured. There's no reason to engage. It's over. Your opportunity to intervene was before they left the store doors and before they left the store sidewalk. The moment they entered the parking lot, it is over. So now you say that this person nearly hit an officer. That is the excuse that is constantly trotted out. So if that is true, prove it in court. Don't prove it to me right now. Don't prove it in a news story. I don't need to see your video. I don't need to see anything. Prove it in court. And if you can't prove it in court, then it doesn't need to be said in public. The only reason you say things in public is to distort the public perception.
Right.
That's the only reason. So
yeah.
So what I'll just say as a last point, Black people, at what point do you finally decide that enough is enough as far as how you view this system? I need you to get past hopeful optimism and whatever it is that's holding you back from acknowledging that your life is not worth a physical piece of property that was manufactured in a shop somewhere. We got to wake up, people.
And I'm reading the mother's account. Yeah, you're right. One thing they want to say, why isn't baby in the car seat? She was screaming, "There's a baby in the car. There's a baby in the car." So I would think the police officer's like, "Hey, well, one, you're right. They should never. If you think there's a theft, how are you letting her outside the store?" That's question one. Question two, the way the mother described the accident, it's completely different than what the police are saying. I mean, these are two totally different accounts.
So you need to ask yourself, why are you hearing these accounts?
Well, that's a good point.
Right? If this is what's going on, then you should only hear one thing. You should hear the family telling their side of the story out here in public. But there should be no counter narrative. Because if the police are right about what they say happened, they don't need to prove anything to you. They'll wait until it's in court and they'll prove it there. Do you hear traffic citations being trotted out in public? Do you hear about any of the myriad of court cases that happen day in and day out in our country? You don't hear about any of those things. Right? And then as a next pivot, you just showed, and this is where previously you had mentioned like how you arrived at some of these protests when it was about the ICE thing. And I said, we don't need to be out there. And the reason why is because you just showed it in your video. Something like this, how are we treated? We're literally crying out in pain and anger about a baby being shot with a bullet. Doesn't matter the reason why. What matters is a baby lost his life to a firearm, and your response to a grieving community is riot gear and pepper spray.
And nobody had a gun.
It doesn't matter.
Not gun.
Who cares?
No, I'm just saying.
No, but I'm telling you,
that type of response.
It doesn't matter. The fact that the community is Black makes you dangerous by their definition. Weapons are irrelevant. And I need for you and the rest of our community to just acknowledge that fact. You don't have to agree with me on all the things that I say. Don't need to. Use your eyes, your memory, and objective facts. When things happen to other communities, because they do, police make mistakes in other communities too. That's how you get drawn off on these side conversations, because police kill more white people than black people. They do, because we're 13% of the population and they're 56% of the population. Yeah, more mistakes happen with them than they do with us, but per capita it's hitting us disproportionately. So why is it we are met this way? Why weren't we met with the police chief showing up at Walmart and having a discussion with the community? Why weren't we met with grief counselors like they did at the school shootings? Why weren't we met with local politicians having a town hall and a grief session in a time of prayer led by the local administration? Why weren't we met with those things? I need you to ask yourself that, people. Why were we not met with compassion? We were met with correction. You got to ask yourself that, or we're not going to get anywhere.
Well, I'll say this before I move on to the next subject. I hope that she not only sues the police department, but I want Walmart to pay for this, because that was a completely I get
Why
that they
Walmart?
called the police. No, I'll explain why. I understand that when the accusation of theft is launched, you call the police. That's what you should do. Because they have rent-a-cops. Those rent-a-cops don't carry weapons. They just don't. And they don't have a whole lot of them. So, okay, I get that.
Walmart has actual police. The police are there. That's the
Not
only
the
way.
front.
Think about it. The only way the police could have responded as quickly as they did, they had to already be there.
I didn't think they had been there, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Drive by your local Walmart,
Because the
especially if
one
you're in
I
a
go
black
to,
community.
they just got rent-a-cops. They don't have
No.
regular police.
Inside of Walmart, you have Walmart security. Outside of Walmart, there's usually at least one real police car in that parking
Maybe I
lot.
never see them.
Next time you go, take a look. Pay attention.
Yeah.
They're usually either parked in the fire lane or they're parked over by like the handicap area. But they're
they could've-
almost always at least one car there.
Their response made no sense to me. If you're going to accuse somebody of theft, you have cameras.
Yes.
The store has cameras. I don't know. Look at the cameras to see.
Well, the cameras oftentimes suck. I'm going to go ahead and put y'all out there on that. But you're right. You're on the right path. The police, whether it was rent-a-cop or actual local PD, in this case, it was actual local PD. So you have to ask yourself, why was local PD there so fast that they could respond to someone running out of a store into the parking lot? Now, if you came there to steal, your car will be parked very close to the entrance. Would you agree?
Very close. And apparently she wasn't that close.
So that means the police response time had to be within not minutes, but a minute. That means they were there. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. Just scratch it a little bit, things start falling apart. These were, from the reporting and by just logical course of events, these were real police officers. That means they were already there, because a response time to a Walmart is not going to be seconds. It will be in minutes. So the fact that they were already responding, that means they were already on the premises. The fact that they responded the way they did means that they were poorly trained or trigger happy because they sought engagement. They wanted the conflict.
Or both. They were poorly trained and they were trigger happy.
Well, you can't train bias out of a person.
No, you can't.
So and this is why I'm playing down the race angle, because I know that's a temptation, and I know. And yes, I did say about black, but it's because it's a black family that was murdered. But this may not be a case of racism. This is a case of police misconduct, overreaction, and things of that nature. Because at the end of the day, no matter what came out of that Walmart was stuff. It came to the Walmart on a truck. It was stuff. And no matter what they allegedly stole out of there, someone decided that taking stuff was worth taking someone's life.
Yeah, and that's what's bothersome. Because, like I said, and I say it and I'll say it again, I don't care if she stole every single diaper out of that store. I literally don't. You don't shoot in the car. She held the baby up and said, I have a baby in the car. You couldn't have thrown tear gas in the car. You couldn't have.
You're asking the wrong question?
I mean, there's other ways to de-escalate. It seems like he just went for the gun option.
It's not even a matter of de-escalate, right? De-escalation is when there's an argument or there's a conflict. You could have very easily followed them, take a picture of their license plate, show up at their house.
TV. Show the picture of them on TV, like, hey, these people stole diapers.
No, literally, as a police officer, they stole. I don't care. This case, they say it's diapers. It could have been a TV for all I care. You see the license plate, description of the car, description of the offenders. You know all of that.
Slap their picture on the TV, be like, hey, want it. Boom.
You don't even have, no, hear me out, Tracy. You don't have to do that. You're the police. You have everything you need to be at their house before they even get to their house. That's it.
If they're stupid enough to go home.
They eventually got to go home. They stole diapers. They didn't steal, next gen microchips. Okay. They stole diapers. It's the equivalent of stealing a t-shirt. So meet them at the house. And not only that, you could send a letter to the house and be like, hey guys, here's your citation. You must appear. And if you don't appear, we'll come get you. That's what they would have. I promise you they would have done that with anybody else. So why didn't we get that treatment? Why was the reaction, we must stop these people now? And we can probably find out that the officer who fired the shot may even be a black person. So now if you're overplaying the race card, I don't know, but I'm saying it could be.
No, I mean, I saw a picture of him. He's not.
Okay. But even so, race is the temptation. It's the bait, right? We need a white officer and a black body. No. This is blue versus the public. And in this case, it's the black portion of the public. Why was lethal force even on the menu? And then when the community calls for accountability and they're venting their pain because a baby was killed, you meet them with force. I need y'all to stop thinking that these people are your friends or that they will ever give you justice or fairness. They won't. They won't. But then I have a different solution to all of this, but I'll stop.
And I'll say this and we'll move on to the next subject. What's really bothering me about this case and the Cho case and the Carmelo Anthony, where are the black politicians? Like, they real quiet. I haven't heard especially the Carmelo Anthony case, I haven't heard 2 cents of a something. Usually, you see the Al Sharptons and you see the Ben. Well, you saw Ben Crump in this case because he's representing the family. Where's the congressional? Like, where are they at? Because our community, not me, our community looks to these people to speak for us. And maybe we need to take that and say, you know what? Nah, we need to start speaking for ourselves because apparently they didn't just went on, they didn't just applied the silent treatment and just like, no, what, we ain't gonna say nothing. I mean, I haven't heard anything, like nothing. And I don't know if I'm angry, surprised, or I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. I don't know whether I'm angry or upset, but I'm one or the other.
So I agree with you and I disagree with you. I agree with you that Black politicians who can find a microphone when the Voting Rights Act was assaulted yet again, they found a microphone then, and yet now they are sitting on their hands. So I agree. Moments such as this, if you can't judge it because you'll say we're waiting for the facts to come out, then come out and say that. Come out and say that we're waiting for the facts to come out. Come out and say that we are grieving for the loss of a child as a result of, a police involved shooting. We don't know what happened. We don't know the details, but it doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter the details. You can still grieve the fact that a 1-year-old is gone because a 1-year-old could not be complicit in any crime whatsoever. So where are you? I agree with that. Here's why I say I disagree. Why I say I disagree is because we don't give Black politicians any credibility or concern in any other time. We don't look to them for leadership in any other case. So if you do not value them in other situations, why would you dare say that they are failing or disappointing you in this situation? It's like you're trying to have it both ways. That's why I say we disagree. As far as the response from the community, I think that the outcry towards Walmart is misplaced. I understand why they do it. I understand because that's where it happened. So I understand. Okay, that's where you mobilize and you respond. But Walmart isn't your problem here. Okay, your problem is the police. So in so many cases, so I'm not going to say you, we choose the softer target, even if that target isn't what we should be focused on. We're going to be mad at Walmart because they thought somebody stole from them, so they called the police. Isn't that what they're supposed to do?
That's what I was saying. You shouldn't be mad at them for that.
Right.
But their tear gas, oh yeah, I could be mad at them about that because that
but
was
how you
totally
gonna be
unnecessary.
wait. How can you be mad at Walmart for the tear gas? They don't make that decision. So you should be mad at the Saratoga or whatever the name of those people were. You should be mad at the police department. You should be mad at the police department for shooting into that car. The baby being shot, I know it's not what anybody wants to hear, but let's just be real. The baby being shot is irrelevant to this entire story. It just happens that the baby was shot. The baby could not have been shot if the officer had not shot into the car. Full stop. So your problem is that the police shot into a car. So you should be mad at the police. Your problem is that when you came to express your grievance, the police met you with force. That should be your problem. That's also the police. At no point should you be honestly focused on Walmart. And I don't like Walmart. But I'm saying if you're going to be mad at the right thing. So the question is, why do we choose the easier target instead of the actual source of our pain? That is something we need to wrestle with.
Me, and it, like I said, when I heard about this, I'm I'm not an angry person. I don't. It takes a whole lot.
I need you to get angry.
No, I'm just saying it takes a whole lot to get me to the point where I'm ready to go cuss somebody out because y'all know I don't cuss. I just don't. This is one of the few times I was like, I'm gonna just let it rip. I didn't, but boy, I felt like I'm ready to go because this to think about what that baby won't get to do. He won't get to get his driver's license. He won't get to graduate high school. He won't get to, and that's where my thing.
And I get it,
And
but
maybe it's misplaced, but I'm
yeah.
just telling you, this is how I felt because I'm looking at this baby, and he didn't think, well, he thought what the baby was gonna be complicit in like the baby stole the diapers. Like what was he? What was
No, he
going through that
legit.
child's mind?
This person legit shot the baby on mistake. I don't even have to know what was going on. I don't have to know anything about it. I can say with like 95% certainty that officer did not mean to shoot that baby. I can give him that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. If you didn't shoot into the car, the baby wouldn't have been hit. And the reason why I say it doesn't matter is because if you focus too much on this baby being shot, they will defeat your argument by saying, why would you hold your baby up and present them as a target? Or they will say, why was this baby not secured in a car seat? Or they will say, if you're going to go steal something, why would you bring your child? They will say, you see what I'm saying? The baby is an emotional trigger point, and it should be because it's a baby that we have lost. But I am saying that we as a community failed that baby before that baby was even born. Okay? Because we don't want to place our anger and our frustration where it's supposed to be so that we can push for the reforms and the changes and the accountability so that when that baby enters this world, they are not subject to someone shooting into a car because there's not enough regard for Black life not to shoot in a car over anything.
Yep, and that's what I think I'm doing. But boy, it's hard not to. It's really hard not to. And I'm gonna give props to the mother of the child because I saw an interview. Oh, she way better than me. Oh, she way better. That young lady is better than me. Let that have been my baby. Just let it. I'm telling you, you don't want. I think this society needs to be glad I don't have children because I can't imagine. I can't imagine holding a baby if you just shot my child who I gave birth. No. I hope she sues. I hope she sues that police office out of business. I know it's not gonna happen. I know they're gonna just settle with her mouth. I hope she sues them until her fingers fall off. I hope I know she's gonna. I think they're gonna probably file suit against Walmart too. I can see it coming, but that police department, oh, I hope get them. I don't know. I'm not a Ben Crump fan, but in this case, I don't know. It's something I can't name it. I can't put my
I need
finger
people
on
to get.
it.
See, that's the thing. Y'all got to
It
do
was
better.
the same thing about how I felt like Tulsi Gabbard. I couldn't figure it out, and then when she started doing stuff, I said, "That's it. That's
But
it."
it's not. It's not the same. And here's why I say it's not the same. People have got to. There's you, all of y'all, all of us. We need to hold more accountability for the things that we say, right? Because I couldn't vote for Kamala. Why? I just couldn't. I ain't like something about her. And I'm not saying you should have voted for Kamala, first of all. Let me just put it out there. I'm just using that as an example. Or I don't like Ben Crump.
Well, I told you what I didn't like about it. I was like, well,
that's fine, but that's fine. That's not the point. The point is we like to say that we don't like somebody and have nothing to really truly grasp on it. It's a vibe check type of thing. Like there's people who don't like Gavin. Give me a policy from Gavin that you don't like, right? Or there's people who don't like Tallarico. Give me a policy you don't like about Tallarico. What? Give me, or they say They don't like Ben Crump. What has he done that you don't like about Ben Crump? Ben Crump literally, there's a case we made that he's an ambulance chaser, but you know what? He's also one of the very few competent Black attorneys who will go out there and fight for these families that they run into these situations and get them paid. You lost your family member, you lost your rights, you lost all kinds of things. Least he can do is get some money back in your pocket. You better be glad that a Ben Crump shows up. It's kind of like back in the day.
In this case, I am. That's what I said. I'm glad that he's there.
But what is it that you don't like about him?
I can't name it.
Exactly.
I really can't.
It's a
and
vibe.
I know you're gonna get on me. It's a vibe. I know. I'm not saying I never said I was proud of it. I'm being honest. I'm telling you, this is what I'm thinking.
I feel
this
you.
is how I feel. This is what I'm thinking.
But I get it.
But yeah, I'm glad he's on the case. I wish. I don't want to say anything about the Carmelo case because I'm still that really literally wants.
So my pushback is not directly directed at you as an individual, Tracy, is what we do. And I am saying that we are in a moment in our history right now that is no longer good enough. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough for us to just say, I don't know, I just don't. Then don't say it. Right? And question why it is you feel that way about one of the few people who's actually trying for you.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're gonna move on to our next subject. I'm already gonna tell you up front, you not gonna like what I'm gonna say about the presidential library that just opened.
That's because I know you don't like Obama, so it's okay.
I'm trying because I look at I'm trying to see it and I don't. But here's what I will say because I'm gonna just try to do as many facts as I can, and we're gonna stick to the facts. Because this goes into my hey, where are all the Black leaders at question. The museum opened up on Thursday. And here's what I will say. I will say this when Trump opens up his library. I said it when George W. Bush got his. I'm going to say the exact same things. The same criticism I have for the Obama Museum is going to be the same criticism I have for all these presidential museums. One, what exactly are you finding in a presidential museum? Is this like about the president, his impact? What is it? Because when I think of library, I'm thinking of a place I'm going to find out information that I don't already know. Like I didn't know this. Like I didn't know Obama's a smoker. I'm just making up stuff at this point. What's the point of a presidential? It's not like an actual public. Can you go check out books? Can you?
It's not the library in the traditional sense, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. What's the point of a presidential library? That's the one thing I don't understand. Second, I don't understand why taxpayers, and I know my MMTers are going to crack me for saying this, but I'm trying to put this in the public discussion because, again, a lot of people don't understand MMT. Why is the government taking over the funding of that? I don't have a problem with the private partnership. If you want to donate money to JD Vance, why would you do that? Okay, do it. But why should why should we allocate money for all of these presidential libraries? And three, why is that building that ugly? Those are the three main I'm like, yeah, y'all really deserve 850 million, not thousand, million. I'm like, you could have spent that money on something. 800, that's like what, a quarter? No, that's not a quarter. That's more than a quarter of a billion. That's like 150 million away. I knew Trump was gonna be petty because the attention was focused off of him. So I knew that was coming. So when he said the Arabs said that Obama's an SOB. I'm like, no, they didn't. You did. So I just kind of ignored him. So I guess I have thoughts about it, but I don't know how to conceptualize them into one like this, because like I said, I'm gonna say the same thing when Trump gets his gaudy, ugly, gold lace, trying to change everything, trying to make everything in all the stuff in there gold and put a big statue of himself that's as tall as the building. Trust me, I'm gonna say the same thing. Why? Why do we do this? And you make
Okay, so I'm going to first say that the basis for your frustration is because of your deep-seated animosity towards all things democratic. And given
probably.
that, and given that, Obama has become a fixation of your frustration because he is so well liked. That's what it is. Because you really don't like the party, which I don't like the party either. But your dislike for the party is so strong that it has created an almost reflexive hatred isn't the right word, but a reflexive dislike of all things Democratic Party. And because Obama is the most present or current and well-loved version of a Democratic president, he becomes the focus of your ire. So I'm gonna just put that out there. That's just what it is, from my perspective. But you raised like three points, right? Like, why is it called a presidential library? Like, what is that? So the presidential library, I would suggest instead. Okay, so the word is what it is, right? That's like how they branded it, right? But it's an archive. This is where you're going to have every speech that the president has made, every memo or letter that they've written, their legislative accomplishments, pictures and statues and mementos, all that stuff is in there. So that's what it is. And I'm not a big fan of these presidential libraries, but it is the way America has decided that for each president that we have, we commemorate them with a space dedicated to their administration. That has been the case for quite some time. So Obama deserves to have his library. Why shouldn't he have one when every president passed since him, before him, and after him in modern history, they get one? You know, because I mean, it's a largely rhetorical question, but honestly, just it's me asking you, why shouldn't he have a library?
Okay, so I think I made very clear. I said when Trump gets his gaudy, ugly look, I'm gonna
Everything
make the
isn't a
exact
comparison, Tracy.
no, but
Obama.
when Biden gets his, when Trump gets his, when Bush got his, I'm still gonna make the exact same criticism. I'm like, you can't spend your money on nothing else because eventually the taxpayers, Congress is gonna allocate money for this for
Yes.
all presidents from
For the
George
maintenance of it,
Washington,
yes.
from George Washington to Donald Trump. We got to pay for all of those.
Mhm.
Why?
The reason why is because the president is the highest representative office of the United States. So you commemorate your leader
Oh,
as
actually,
a
I'm gonna take it back.
national, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it back. Herbert Hoover forward. It's not every
Right. It's
president.
not everybody.
No.
But that is how America has chosen to commemorate the highest office in the land. So that's no different than anywhere else. It's just over there, you might do it for the king or you might do it for the prime minister. But America should not revere, but elevate the fact that this is a person the nation, in one way or another, voted to put in power and was the figurehead of the American institution. That's just what it is. Now, would it have been just fine to have just had a in the Smithsonian Institute, you just create a hall for each president,
Yeah, just a hall.
it would have been good, right? You go to the presidential building and you can go and see this exhibit and then this exhibit and then this. That would make more sense to me. But that's not what America chose to do. So every president should have their library. I mean, that's just what it is. We don't like it. We need to put the right people in Congress, change the rules, and do that. But yeah, that's my take on that. The other thing, cost to the taxpayer. The cost to us is going to be the maintenance of it. I've never heard anyone complain about the maintenance of the Lincoln Memorial or the maintenance of the Washington Monument. You know, never hear anybody complain about that. I never hear anybody talk about the maintenance of the Martin Luther King Memorial. I never hear anything about that, right?
Well,
you never hear anybody complain about the maintenance of the Reagan Library. It's what it is. And financially, it is minuscule to the money we blow out the door for Senate corruption or congressional corruption as a whole, or what we blow out the door for spending on weapons to kill random brown people around the world, right? The math is irrelevant to us. So really, people only opposed to it on the principle of the matter. That doesn't hold a lot of water. And then the building being ugly. So the building's ugly.
I know, but I'm just like, ugh.
But I get it, but I'm saying, so I don't think the building's ugly. I think it's unnecessary. I don't think any of these things need to be this gaudy, but that's what America's doing. And then, now you didn't raise this point, but I think this helps bring all of this together. All of these things are expensive. They almost double each president. Now, granted, you got to understand the time value of money. So money, takes more money to do the same thing, right? But Ronald Reagan, $60 million. This is the build it. This is the build it. Okay, this isn't the maintenance thereafter. W. Bush, Daddy Bush, $83 million. So about $20 million more. Clinton, $165 million. So double it. W, $500 million. More than double it. Barack Obama, $850 million. Almost double it. Donald Trump, projected at $1 billion.
But he'll sell off rights. He's gonna make trust and believe. He's going to the tacky tile. He's gonna have tacky.
It's gonna be a monstrosity.
Yeah, it's gonna be way uglier than this one. Way uglier.
My point is, it's consistent. So to point out Obama as being somehow aberrant to all these, just what America does for all of its presidents, it doesn't really concern me that much, but it frustrates me because I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time in white spaces, but Black folks complaining about the Black president getting something on par with every other president in modern history. What in the world? Why him? Why him?
And I'll answer the question in this way, and it's not gonna make sense because I already said, oh, he's gonna disagree with me with what I'm about to say. I already know. Here he comes. I think for some of us, when we voted for Obama, look what we was coming off of. We were coming off of George W. Their weapons of mass destruction. You lied right to our face. And so when Obama ran on the I'm gonna hope and change, and to us didn't change anything.
Yeah, it did.
And I literally can't name something he changed.
Okay, affordable health care. I mean, the Affordable Care Act was a big difference than what we had as, just what do you call the term? Standard.
I think what we expected, though, when
that's a different question.
But I'm getting to that. I'm telling you why it is that we just have this, like, okay, we got fooled because we hear one thing, but we see Wall Street getting bailed out instead of Main Street. We see the drones being struck. We see civilians being killed. No president. I'm still like, please Some president, please close Guantanamo Bay. Just close it. I don't care I don't care who closes at this point. Like every president since Bush has promised we're going to close it down. It's still open.
That should tell you something.
Right. They don't want it closed. That's what
No,
it's telling me.
maybe, but it also should tell you something else. It may tell you that there's something we do not know as far as the consequences of doing this.
But tell
Now,
us, hey, this could be implicated. Don't tell. I'm gonna close it, and then you like, well, it's not a. And don't start me on what he did to Roe v. Wade, because that was some
what
foolishness.
did he do to Roe v. Wade?
I'm gonna codify Roe v. Wade, and then got in office and blame Lieberman. When you had the Senate, those first 2 years, I'm not talking about the other 6 years where Mitt Romney showed his racist face. I'm not talking about those years. I'm talking about the first 2 years. You didn't think to codify. You just thought, okay, you had 60 United States senators.
Why?
You had Congress. You had the White House. You had everything you needed. And you said, quote, it's not a priority. It was a priority when you was running.
I think this is important. I think this is important. I'm glad you raised this. And first of all, I am not trying to be an Obama apologist. What I am trying to say is emotion needs to be backed by reality and facts and perspective. So you have laid out a number of reasons why you had higher expectations for the first and only Black president following a major financial crash to somehow be completely lights out different than the presidents that preceded him. When you hear it said that way, what does that say to you?
And I'll say this. When you run that way, when
Candidates
you
run
run
on
away,
everything.
I know they do, but I'm saying like I said, when you come off of a Bush who was top 3 of the worst presidents we've ever had, literally, I'm like, he's got to be, he up there. Like, I'm like, dude, you got us into a war we had no business in, all because you wanted to kill somebody that you thought that your father couldn't take out. That's literally why we got into that in the oil. But when you're coming off that and you got economic, we were in a recession and everything was going downhill. We're like, when we caught on to that campaign, and keep in mind, I voted for Obama twice, not once, twice. So when I'm hearing, oh, I'm going to change things, okay, change something.
Okay, but he is not the king. So he comes in, and what is he immediately handed? The Great Recession.
Oh, wait a minute. Nelson, of course, I love Nelson because Nelson always makes my point better than I do. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. No, you didn't call, but you did comment. Affordable health care was a Mitt Romney idea. And it came from the Heritage Foundation.
Agreed.
Came from that same Project 2025 Heritage. Same people.
Not the same question.
I know, but I'm pointing out facts.
No, you're not.
That is a fact.
No, you're distorting it. It's a half truth. Is it a fact? Is it a fact that the Affordable Health Care Act originated out of Romney Care? Yes. Is it the same as Romney Care? No. Did Obama want more in it short of a public option, which is where we have a firm disagreement? We should have had a public option at least a public option presented, right? But he didn't do it. Okay.
I don't think Obama was for the public option.
That's what I'm saying.
I know Biden was. Biden definitely ran on the public option.
Stop pivoting, please. Stop pivoting. I can't fight 3 arguments. So what Obama wanted is what Obama, the president, wanted. It still has to make it through Congress. One of the flaws I see in Obama is his negotiating strategy was what I'm going to do to highlight the fact that no matter what I do, they're going to be against it because of me. Is I'm going to put their plan in front of them. and let's see what they do with it. And he
And they
did
still
that.
came out against it.
And they still came out and watered it down and twisted it and did all types of things, the Republicans and the healthcare lobbies, so that what we ended up with was a weaker version than what Obama even wanted, but it was what could get through a Republican and Democratic Congress. He is not a king. He cannot just prescribe things. So that's why we ended up with the Affordable Care Act in the form that we got it. Now, we can criticize the Affordable Care Act for being a funnel that basically took all these American people and pushed them to the healthcare industry. I think that criticism is 100% warranted. But in so doing, because if you remember where we were before the Affordable Care Act, the ACA, people could not afford insurance at all. We had a rising crisis of people not having insurance, especially coming off of W's economic collapse. So the ACA made health insurance available to a lot of people who couldn't even get it before. They made too much money to get Medicaid. They weren't old enough to get Medicare, and they couldn't afford the premiums that the healthcare industry was charging. So the Affordable Care Act created this middle ground where, no, it wasn't the cheapest thing in the world, but it allowed people to get insurance. That is a good thing. The problem is it wasn't good enough. It needed to have teeth in it to control these health industries from basically robbing this funnel that got put in front of them. And the teeth that Obama originally wanted were taken out by who?
Congress.
Republicans.
Okay.
And the health insurance industry. So if you're gonna blame somebody, please, people, blame the right people. Like, it's not enough to just be emotionally charged and be like, this ain't good enough. Please, people, for all that God is good in God's glory, blame the right people. And then, okay, who stands against Black people getting equity and fair justice and treatment in this country, going back at least into the 60s? It has been the Republicans. They vote in lockstep. No matter if they got 40 people or if they got 60 people, they all vote together to screw us. So how does it make any amount of sense to blame the party for not doing something, but you're not going to blame the Republicans for standing in solidarity to hurt you?
Okay. Again, I made the distinction. I made the distinction that I was only talking about Obama's first 2 years when they had the House and they had the Congress.
I'm telling you that that's an incomplete assessment.
That's not. I understand.
The first 2 years we were absorbed in the 2008 financial crisis.
So that means that a politician, I should just vote Democrat because they're better than Republican.
That's a straw man argument. That's not what I said at all.
Then I don't get. Okay.
What I'm saying is be more mature and fair in the assessments that we make. It's nice to use revisionist history, but you're moving the goalpost. So you said, as we were coming into this, about the women's protections under healthcare, right? Okay, the Democratic Party failed us over the last 30 years. At any time, they could have brought this up and forced the Republicans to defend their position, and they didn't do it. That's the whole party. Hanging that on Obama is a little tacky if you're not going to put the same weight on every Republican. That is why you lost your rights. You're more mad at the guy who failed to do the thing to stop them than you are the people who did the thing to hurt you. That's backwards.
Here's why I don't think it's backwards. And then again, because we're going to move on to the memorandum of understanding. This is what I'm tired of people's doing, especially when it comes to, wait a minute. Now, Nelson, again, Nelson is me and I am Nelson. Obama was a sellout. I know plenty of Black people who lost their homes in the bank house bubble collapse. Obama bailed out the banks. He did sign the legislation to bail out Wall Street and not Main Street.
Yes.
Can we agree
first
on that?
sentence, the first sentence is where I would take issue, and I'm not an Obama fan. But your criticism is on Obama for not representing the Black community better. I agree he should have done better. But what would that better have been? Do you just want him to come out and be more forcefully Black? You still wouldn't have got shit through. I'm sorry. You still wouldn't have got anything through Congress. Wouldn't have happened. So it might make you feel better to say that he should have had a sister soldier moment, but it still wouldn't have delivered you a blessed thing. America has continued to harm our people. It doesn't matter who is sitting in the cockpit of that plane. It could be a Black man, an Asian man, a Latino man, or a white man. It don't matter. America has intentionally, aggressively, intelligently come after us. So if your frustration is with how America treats us, then so be it. I will stand with you. I will fight with you. But it's when you decide that somebody that has more on their shoulders than any one of us didn't do enough from the comfort of us not having to deal with any of it, and it doesn't move our agenda forward. That's an emotional response. I need us to move to the next part of it. The emotional part will bring you to the discussion. But once you're in the discussion, we have to be more evolved in what we're trying to get. We are 13% of the population, roughly. Mathematically, he ain't gonna do it. So if the president ain't gonna do it, which I don't think any president would do it, if the Congress ain't gonna do it, because I think the Congress is our enemy, then that means we have to look at another pathway. What are the other pathways? We can start our own hospitals. Do we do it? No. We could start our own local clinics. Do we do it? Some of us. We could help send our own money to these passion projects that we say are important to our community. Do you do it? No. So it's like, come on, guys. We have to step up. And this isn't me backing Obama. I think Obama is a creature of the machine. I am so frustrated that when he was president, I was told, don't criticize the man because he's in office. Let him do what he does. And I'm like, wait a minute. He's in there. He works for me. I should criticize him. But I was told not to do it. I was told, well, wait till he gets out of office, and all of a sudden he's going to be all of a sudden for us. He got out of office, and what was he? Just another rich Negro. That's what it was, right?
And ain't too many of them going aaround.
So if I'm just like,
because I'm trying to answer your original question of why we were so to the point, and this is something I had to learn as I got older. Because how old was I in 2008? That was what, almost 8. That was 18 years ago.
18 years, something like that.
I was in my lower 30s, so I was a little bit more hopeful than most, and especially as an extreme leftist, because I'm willing to call myself an extreme leftist. I have no problem saying, okay, because I have an idea of the way I think things should be, and this is what I think, and if you ain't rocking with,
that's my frustration.
No, I think I am politically, I'm an extreme leftist. Now, socially, I'm probably I lean a lot conservative. I probably lean towards that.
I agree with that.
Conservative. But politically, I definitely lean I don't lean left. I'm past left. Like
I challenge that. I challenge that because I think emotionally you are to the left. But you are refusing to interact with what it takes to take your idea out of the thought category and the passion category and take that, which I think are all right. I think like your passion for universal health care, your passion for being anti-war, your passion for caring about poor people, your passion for a social safety net, I think all of those things are exactly right. Where we have an issue is those are all nebulous and in the air. It's time to take those things and try them to inspect them, to see what does it take to make those things be true, not in the world I wish it was, but in the world in which we inhabit, because that is how we take some of these ideas and get where we're trying to go. What we're doing as we sit back here on this far left theory is that we are not trying the ideas out. We're not challenging the ideas, and then having the audacity to call someone, let's say Obama, a sellout for not performing to the standard that we imagine he should be at, when we never took the time to think what it takes for him to be there. What are the trade-offs he had to make to get there? Who are the people he has to negotiate to get there? What are the obstacles in our government to get there? If it was easy, it would have already been done.
Well, I don't think good decisions are ever easy. I never do. It's difficult. It's difficult to do the right thing.
But the criticism that you share on a consistent basis, and you're not alone, it is very much prevalent on the left, which is where I live, is so much frustration is laid at the feet of Obama. He was the
last two.
Yeah, he was the first Black president.
And
he had so much racism thrown towards him that his entire family couldn't have a social media presence. His wife is still being called an animal or a man to this day. Okay? Just for existing. So if that's the energy of the nation, even almost 20 years after the dude's gone, almost 10 years after the dude's gone, what do you think he had to deal with? Especially when you had Mitch McConnell, the head of the unified Republican Party, that said, he ain't gonna get nothing through here. So it's like we are imagining an environment that he didn't have. And so what we say is, well, what about his first 2 years? The first 2 years, if you go back and look at it honestly, he was dealing with the financial crisis. That was more important than anything else. Did he navigate it properly? Absolutely not. Because the banks went in there and said, this is what I want. If you want anything, you better do it my way.
Right. Yeah. And that's where I think, because like I said,
so blame the banks. Blame Congress. Why are you blaming the people who didn't make the decision? It's crazy.
I'll say this and I'll say it again. I'm gonna have to agree with Nelson again.
No, you're
but
wrong,
I want to.
Nelson, I respect you, bro, but you're wrong here. Now you're just basically being, anti to be anti, bro. That's what you're doing right
now. Here's where, and like I said, this will be my last comment. I knew when I had this topic in my head, I said, "Oh, Steve's gonna he gonna never invite me on his show ever again because I'm a show going in." When Michelle Obama said he stopped the wars, I was like, and I expect her to defend her husband.
Is this the library speech?
Yes, this is the library speech.
Because I don't listen to the Obamas anymore.
First of all, my first question was like, girl, which war is you talking about? Girl, you tell me? I know he came out against the Iraq war. That was the correct position. He was definitely against the Iraq war. And that's why Hillary didn't win the nomination, because she was like, no, we need to go in and bomb them. But didn't you try drones? Didn't you kill American citizens?
That's wild right there. That's wild.
No, that's fact.
It is fact. That is very much a fact. He did kill, to my knowledge, one American citizen who was a confirmed member of a terrorist opposition to the United States. Not like we just named him a terrorist. No, he literally went and joined the terrorist organization to fight against America. He was a traitor to the nation. I'm not justifying what happened to him. He still was an American citizen, and you need to go catch him if you can catch him, and then put him on trial. And you didn't do it. You bombed him, blew him up on the back of a dirt bike. Okay. How is that different than every president?
It's not.
Every. So what makes him so, gosh darn it, Obama, he killed a U.S. citizen. This is what America does. You surprised now?
Wait a minute. Actually, it's four. But yeah, the ones we know are Anwan, Ala, Awaka. I can't pronounce none of these names. But and let me not even talk about Gaddafi. I don't even want to
You're jumping around, bro.
touch Gaddafi because that's a whole
Yeah. That was
that's
the
a
that I mean, that's a really it's actually pretty quick and easy. Okay. Muammar Gaddafi, in my view, was an imperfect leader, but a good one. Muammar Gaddafi raised almost everyone in his country out of poverty. Poverty was almost
yes.
eradicated in Libya. Muammar
And he wanted
Gaddafi shared the resources, the
with
profits
people.
from the resources with his citizens. Muammar Gaddafi was executing on the Marcus Garvey principle of a united Africa and wanted to create a 52 or 50, however many countries there are in Africa, the 52, 54 United States of Africa. Muammar Gaddafi wanted to look at the resources that are under the ground and in the mines and in the rivers and in the mountains of Africa for the benefit of Africa and have a consolidated African currency, which is no different than what Europe did with the euro, except that the euro was based on make-believe value, just like credit value, basically, which is what the US dollar is. Whereas Muammar Gaddafi was like, we're going to use it based on mineral wealth, which would have destroyed the US dollar. So now, got people put your thinking hats on, folks. Muammar Gaddafi, if he had been successful, would have destroyed the US dollar. If he had destroyed the US dollar, all of us that went through 2008, that was nothing, folks. You would have went through what happened with Greece, where your currency would have been worth nothing. Going to work would have meant nothing. You would have been absolutely poor, destitute, and in trouble. So the United States of America, remember, like I said before, Obama's job was to fly the plane. It was not his job to change the plane. His job wasn't to take the plane and turn it into a boat. He was elected to fly the plane. So if Muammar Gaddafi had been successful, it would have destroyed America. What president, regardless of color, would allow such a thing to happen on their watch? So he acted as the representative of America to go get that man. Now, he was also, in my view, now I could be wrong because I think he actually was much more in front of this than a lot of us give him credit for. But we oftentimes will blame Hillary and we'll blame the military industrial complex. They're true, 100%. They in it. They dirty as all get out. But Obama, in this case, in my view, what happened in Libya sits squarely on his shoulders. But think about what I just shared with you. If you were sitting in that chair, you would have done the exact same thing. You may try to say that you would not, but that's because you don't have to face those questions. But I guarantee you, if you are responsible for the livelihood of 300 million Americans, you would have done the same thing.
See, if you need to apply for a job at the Obama playground.
No, I don't. Because, see, the only reason you would say such a thing is because you're trying to smear me. I have been very clear. I have been very clear. Even in my explanation, I told you why I don't agree with Obama. What I'm explaining to you is an uncomfortable truth that at the end of the day, the president's responsibility is the safety, well-being, and future of America. Their job is to be the president, to be the administrator, so that when their time is up, they hand over the country to the next person who has to continue the same thing. They are all in service to big money, big government, big anti or non-government entities, power that we can't even imagine. They're all indebted to those people. But the thing is, their job is to protect this nation. And this is why I get so frustrated with people, because it's like we're intentionally refusing to look at the complexity of the situation. You don't always get to make the happy decision when the stakes are that high. The stakes that you and I have to deal with, if we get it wrong, who's it hurt? They get it wrong, who does it hurt? So
here's what I'll say, and then we got to move to our last subject of the of the night. Most of what you're saying, I actually agree with, because presidents have a responsibility I would never have nor want to have. I don't want them. I don't need them. I don't need that on my plate. I already got white hair. I don't need more white hair. I'm cool doing what I'm doing. Here is what I will say, and people that primarily vote Democrat tend to do this. I think we were hard. I know that I was harder on Obama because he is black. I will admit that. I will absolutely positively admit to being harder on him. I will absolutely admit that my expectations were higher of him.
Why?
Because he's black. I'm not saying what I expected and what I wanted were higher. I'm saying they are higher.
Agreed. I'm asking you to look at your why, because you know what country we live in. So he's black. How in what world does black afford you with more versus less to your peers?
But well, I'm telling you where I was at, right? I'm just telling you this is what I think, because when I see that, and don't tell me he did not use the fact that he was black to get elected, because he
absolutely
obviously did. He absolutely did.
Absolutely did. He used the fact that he was black with a white mama,
which technically makes him biracial.
Which technically makes him black.
Yeah, but his mother was white.
His mother was white. But how many of us don't have a white ancestor in our lineage? So at that point, do you no longer get to be black at that particular moment in time and you get to pick it up later? That is the most backwards one-drop rule ever. We are all mixed. We are all multiracial.
Right. But what I'm saying is, because he fashioned himself like that, and Kamala Harris did it, but she didn't do it to the extent that he did it.
Yeah, she screwed up. I'll tell you how she screwed it up. Obama allowed others to focus on him being black. Obama allowed others to create the narrative about him being black and his dad being Kenyan and his mom being this little nice white lady from Nebraska. And he allowed that, but he never spoke on it directly. He intentionally sidestepped race all the time, which allowed him to be placed in the magical Negro category. Kamala, now she did this wrong, but I understand why, because she was doing it after him. So it was more acceptable to admit that you're black. No matter, I can look at you, see you're black, but it is more acceptable. So her team played up her being black, and she played up her being black.
Oh, she did it, but she didn't do it. Yeah, but Obama is guilty of something. I don't think I would ever accuse Harris of code switching.
Oh, she was constantly accused of that. Black people said she wasn't black enough. Asian people said she wasn't Asian enough.
No, but she pretty much talked the same way. Like when Obama was talking to a white audience, as opposed to a black audience, totally different. His tone was different.
Yep.
He could have been saying the same.
Well, one of the reasons.
Right. His tone was different. When Kamala was talking to a black audience or an Indian audience, her tone was always the same to me. It was always.
But she got more criticism than he did.
Because she's female.
That, and because, mainly because you're seeing there's a lot of misogyny in this country, and it's across the board. Okay,
yeah,
black
she
folks,
got hers because she was female.
But that wasn't no. Don't want to downplay the race part, because black folks, even though this woman has identified as black, as far as we know,
I mean, she literally said, "I'm a black woman."
Right. Went to Howard University, pledged the black sorority. She been black. She always been black. Until she ran, I didn't even know she had an Asian mama.
I didn't either. I thought she was a light-skinned black girl. I was like, oh, okay. Her mama Indian?
But as soon as we found out she was biracial, what happened? Black folks were saying that she wasn't black enough. Asian people were saying she wasn't Asian enough.
Her of not being black enough. That was never one of my criticisms.
But you know it was a prominent theme. Because otherwise her going to Howard and pledging I think is she AKA?
Attitude, whatever them AKAs or
Yeah.
1040s or whatever they call.
Yeah,
I'm
so that's what happened.
like, y'all, come on. But I literally did not know her mother was from India. I'm like, oh, well, she just light-skinned black woman. Okay, whatever. And then she said, my mother's from, I'm Asian. I'm like, huh? Where? I mean, I literally had to do. You knew Obama was black because he's a darker tone than she is.
You knew they're both black. They're Phoenix. They
No,
both
but I
black.
knew Obama's mother was white. When I first saw him speak on that stage in the Democratic convention, the one that he spoke at before he was nominated as president, because he said my mother was. Right. I mean, he literally said
he used it to his advantage. Absolutely.
Never said that she never said she was it. She didn't talk about her mama. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm. And what's shameful is it shouldn't matter, but it does.
It really shouldn't. But we know, again, to your point, we know what country we live in. This is, I think, and this is why. Well, I don't want to get on why Pete Buttigieg will never be president. Not in this country. I can't see it happening. I can't, because America ain't ready. Huh?
How we end up on Pete?
I said that's why I'm not going to talk about it, because I plan on doing that show, like why America ain't ready. America, yeah, we not.
I actually think that America is ready for anything if you actually were consistent and authentic about being about the people. America's not ready so long as you have a homosexual man who's
married to another man.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think America would truly balk as hard at that if not for the fact that he is also clearly blue through and through. Like, now the gay thing is definitely an issue in America because there's a lot of bigotry and nonsense. But I'm just saying that America could have had a woman. I don't think Kamala was the right one for it. I just don't. She wasn't a strong.
The wrong woman. I'm like, come on, y'all. We could have a woman president. Hillary was not it. I don't care what.
No, she wasn't. I agree. I actually think, and I'm unpopular here, but I think Elizabeth Warren was the one that we should have had if we were going to have a woman president. But
I think, you know what? I actually agree with that. I actually, as much as she irks me on her stance on Medicare for all, I can actually agree with that.
I think she would have gotten us closer to Medicare for all so we could fight a better fight. I think that she's better with international policy. I think she's better with domestic policy. But America didn't agree with me, and they decided to elevate Hillary. Not just America didn't agree with me. The Democratic Party.
She ran the second time. She didn't run.
She ran the second time? Okay, so that was Biden. But
that was
but the Democratic Party in both elections, following Obama, in both cases, the Democratic Party decided what we should have. They didn't listen to any of us.
But do you think the Republican Party was out here listening to folk?
No, but I don't think that that's a worthwhile argument. I think that always gets us lost because we can never stay on a particular thread because we constantly go to, well, what about? But that doesn't help. It's an anecdotal story, but when I was a young man and I was dating this lady and it wasn't going well. And I wonder
why.
We had a security guard at my building that I was pretty cool with. Come to find out it's his cousin. I didn't know that. But I'm talking to him and I'm talking about all the things that she's doing that's driving me crazy and getting on my nerves. And he paused me. He probably had been about my age now. And he said, wait, right now, I don't care about what she did or didn't do. Right now, I just want to talk about you. That's the energy we got to stay on. If what we want is the next candidate, we need to be talking about the next candidate. Why do we constantly say Obama, which is skipping over Biden, Obama and then Trump? Or we'll say Biden and then Trump. you'll never get anywhere because all we're doing is like doing this like weird like peeing contest. We got to be able to look at something and say, okay, well, what are we actually after, and build from there.
Yep. So, ladies and gents, we are moving into the last conversation of the night. I think we'll end this on good terms, and I won't have to fly to Georgia to strangle Spears. I won't be doing that.
I'm always open to hear where I'm wrong. I'm always prepared to defend my positions and learn from my positions.
You can't even take a joke.
No, not you. I know you, but I'm saying out there in the hinterland.
I want to talk about this memorandum fake behind an agreement that Trump and Iran signed, knowing good and well that Israel was going to break it. Stop trying to fool people. We are not stupid. We already knew Israel doesn't keep its word on anything. Trump signed this agreement because he knows the war is going bad and he wants to say, gee, I signed this agreement. Look at what I did, knowing good and well that Israel was going to bomb Lebanon. Y'all make me sick, legacy media. You make me sick. You knew Israel was going to do this. They make ceasefire agreements and then they go and break them. Why you didn't think this was going to happen now, I don't know. I'm tired of people listening to this administration. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of reporters always just wanting access and putting a microphone to his sleeping behind. Somebody wake him up. Wake him up because he keeps falling asleep at meetings and it's starting to be concerning because JD Vance ain't it. He wears too much mascara and allegedly has his sex with couches, although that's not true. He says it's not true. I am so sick of these words. We gotta have access. No, you don't. Don't show up at the White House. Don't show up. Trump looks for an audience. That's his goal. That's his. And y'all know, I am not a big Joy Ann Reid fan at all. I'm not. I find her politics annoying. She irks my nerves. But in this sense, I 100% agree with her. Stop listening to this guy. Don't show up to the daily White House. Don't show up because everything he says is a lie. He knew there was no way that Israel was going to keep this. He knew it. But he wanted to get out here before the midterms and say, hey, I signed this. So he could say, I signed this. I'm so sick of I can't no more. I cannot. And whatever nose dose he's taken, because dude has been falling asleep lately. I mean, like this has been going on for years. And I'm getting tired of it. Our presidents, whether they were Republican or Democrat, they wasn't falling asleep. Well, wait a minute. I'm gonna take that back. Biden did fall asleep. But he wasn't in the White House. He was at a trip in Hawaii, and that's a long flight. I'll give him that one. But this just take it away because I'm so sick of this administration. I'm just sick of them.
Well, just for the low-hanging fruit candy moment, the falling asleep thing. You elect an 80-year-old man to be the leader of your country, then he gonna get sleepy. I mean,
like I would get sleepy, and I'm 52. You sitting there talking about wars.
I'm like, we still have two. I mean, I know when Trump came in, he was like 78, but he's still an octogenarian. He was 2 years from being 80. Right? You put two really old people who have exceeded life expectancy into office. You have to give them some allowance for being old. Like this shouldn't even be a story for the most part, except for the fact that he kept dragging Biden for being sleepy.
This man says he's 6'5" and he weighs 235 pounds. That man weighs a good 3.
He's a lie.
He weighs, he got to weigh 300. Ain't no way he weighs no 235.
But I mean, at what point do we just acknowledge that Trump lies? Like, I think most people have acknowledged that. So
except for the media.
But who cares what they acknowledge? I'm just saying, us as consumers, we know he's a liar. He lies constantly. He likes to do braggadocio in order to manufacture the reality that he prefers. Given that we know that, we should stop paying attention to it. That's on us. It's 100% on us. And then you got the thing with really important about the MOU. Israel never agreed to that. Israel never agreed to that. Trump is tired of this war, and Trump knows that we are within weeks of a financial downfall that he don't want to be responsible for, even though it's his fault. So he's like, let's get this done now. And he has done this multiple times over the last few weeks where he just makes up a story and that's it. And because we, like you were pointing out, we have such a garbage media, no one really changes it or pushes back on it. But part of that story is we also have ignored as a whole that local television is owned by Sinclair. Might as well be Fox. Israel's flunky, or whatever that guy's name is, he's got CNN and he's got
60 Minutes.
PBS, right? So you got that happening. So our national media is deeply implicated. Not only is it owned by Israeli lobbyists and sympathizers who were part of a war that we're in, but it's also just deeply corrupt. So that means you can't trust your national media. You can't trust your local media. All too often, our independent media is just making up stuff and spouting off emotional passion projects. I call a lot of people on the left passion pimps because all they do is get out here and stir people up. They don't give you any real facts, and they don't actually report the truth, and they don't help you interpret what's happening. They just get you spun up and emotionally charged. So we got lies everywhere around us. The thing is, man, whatever. I'm done with that, bro. But it's not constructive. It don't help nobody. But
I'm putting up his comment.
Yeah, I got you. But Israel didn't agree. Israel is on a genocidal campaign. Israel has attacked no less than 6 different nations. America wants out. America helped start this war. I think a lot of people blame Israel for starting the war. I'm starting to suspect America started this war and pulled Israel with it because Israel was going to go fight these other wars. They just needed America to fight the Iran war. And so,
yeah, because they can't fight it by themselves.
They don't have the ability to fight Iran.
They don't have the ability.
But they can fight all these other countries. So set America loose on Iran, which we were glad to do because America has been steeping its public in anti-Iranian propaganda for 40-something years. I'm sorry?
Not to go back on Obama, but that's one of the things that he did do that I'm like, yes, he had an agreement with Iran not to produce nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. But because Obama lives in Trump's mind, Trump said, I'm not going to do this. And then for some reason, Biden didn't go back to renegotiate it because he did not. Now we got this. So
in
that's
my view,
one of the few things.
Biden is one of the most failed presidencies in recent history. Not for the same reason a lot of people have, because I think overall Biden was a decent president, but he is not someone I ever would have voted for. So I'm not willing to move the goalpost, I guess you could say. Like my expectations of Biden was low. He exceeded my low expectations. But even in exceeding my low expectations, he's still a failure because he didn't close any of the gaps that Trump exposed. He didn't normalize relationships with Cuba. He kept most of Trump's most dastardly policies in place. And he didn't re-engage with Iran effectively to get the JCPOA back in place. So to me, Biden is a failed president. I don't think Obama's a failed president. I just think he's just a president. But that's how I view it. And plus, first of all, and I am biased, even though I'm not a big fan of Obama, and even though I don't even view Obama as being an American black in the same way that say I am, but he is a black man. And as such, I am not going to go after a black man for doing a decent job when I have so many white men who are doing terrible jobs? Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Right? I will give criticism where it's due, but I will never place more on the underdog than I will place on the ones who are actually doing the worst things.
But I think the thing is with Trump, why does the media need, is access that important?
Media access is important because it drives clicks, not because it drives actual news. So take what you just asked, but frame it in the understanding that the right wing now owns, as I said before,
Everything.
local and national media. So you're not going to
And you
get.
might as well say international. Have you watched the BBC lately? I'm like, wait a minute.
There's one lady on the BBC that is just horrid. No, that's on the LBC. But on the BBC, generally speaking, they're okay. They're what they've always been. Al Jazeera is what they've always been, right? You know, everybody has an angle, everybody has an agenda. That's just what it is. And I don't know why people think it's going to be anything different. I mean, even with us, I mean, think about it. You have an agenda, I have an agenda. That it skews our point of view on all of this stuff. But yeah, but we're in a position where the people who run most of the media organizations, they only run it because Trump gave it to them. They're going to give fluff pieces. And the moment you don't give a fluff piece, what does he do? He sues you or he forces somebody to come and get you. He was so mad at MSNBC, he split the company. That's crazy. That's wild.
He got Jimmy Kimmel, who I don't think is funny at all.
He got Kimmel, he got Colbert, he got, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying it's important for folks to be a little bit more nuanced in what's going on. You know, stop looking at things so idealistically.
But to have him, and this is getting into 2028, and I don't want to do that, but I guess I got to go with this. Now you have a situation where conservatives are mad, like the Mike Huckabees, the pro-Israel people are mad that the U.S. is going to stop bombing Iran. And then you have another segment of the Trump group that's mad at Trump, saying, hey, this shouldn't have started in the first place. Because if you talk to most conservative voters, not the elites, not the Byron Donalds, not those people, but if you talk to the average MAGA person, which I know you don't talk to them, but they will say, I'm not for all these wars. Yeah. And he's got that.
They're also not for your right.
I agree. I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I'm just saying he's got two segments angry at him in his own party that was his creation.
They gave him the power. It doesn't matter anymore.
And that's my point. That's my point right there. And I keep telling folks, y'all did this. Mm-hmm. You're crying now. Now, what we not gonna do, y'all? We're not gonna do. I'm trying to keep this civil, right? So just stay on my civil path, yeah. Just stay on my civil path. But I think we get the government that we do or don't vote for. When we sit at home and we're like, I'm not voting, what good is it gonna do? And you get somebody like Trump in office, because I know too many people that say, I'm not voting. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not voting? What do you mean you're going to sit at home? I know several, and I could say I know at least 50 people that didn't even bother. And now they see what's happening. And now you're complaining. What you complaining for?
Well, that's not, I'm not sure how fair that assessment is. I get where you're going, because you hear me complain about and criticize people all the time. But so this is me making assumptions, so tell me if I'm wrong. If we're talking about young leftists or black voters or black non-voters, then the argument may not hold up. Because when you vote for the president, the way you win is by the electoral college. It's not by the
Yeah,
popular
because I'm
Right.
talking about yes.
So if the people who are abstaining from the vote are largely leftists of some sort, black, young, other minorities, third parties fall in this, in my view. If you exist in like these particular areas, you not voting legit doesn't change the electoral college.
It doesn't change the electoral college, but it changes local elections, and
That's
that's where
true.
the power is. That's where the power.
I don't
The
know.
power is in.
Trump's doing this thing right now, and it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impactful.
That's because you have a dictator in office, and they just let him do whatever he wants to. If the Republican Party had any cojones, they could literally stop Trump tomorrow. They don't want to because they like the power. They have enough votes in the Republican Party to remove Trump from office today, and they won't do it. And they're not going to do it, and they're never going to do it.
Right, because individually they benefit more.
They benefit more with Trump in office.
Yes. Because they look at perhaps they look at this. I would say I'm projecting this onto them. But under Trump, as a supporter of Trump, I can get more money. And then when all this falls apart and goes straight to poop, I'll just leave the country. Or I'll go live behind a gate.
Write a book, host a podcast.
Right. There's no real
go on do what Marjorie Taylor did. Go on a speaking tour and talk about how wrong he was. Girl, you didn't know that the whole time.
Marjorie did. Look at how sweet what Marjorie did. Okay. Marjorie all she started to do was tell more of the truth. She didn't really tell the whole truth. She started telling more of the truth. And as soon as she did, you had leftists, so-called leftists, saying, wow, I find myself agreeing with Marjorie all of a sudden.
That was me. I was like, wait a minute, how did that happen?
Wait a minute, guys. You're not agreeing with Marjorie. Marjorie's agreeing with you. Marjorie stopped lying in that area and is now simply saying what you've been saying. So you didn't move to Marjorie. Marjorie is pretending to move towards you. And then, having done so, that allowed her to sell her books, and she was able to go on a lot of talk shows and, I'm learning, like Tucker's doing. I learned and da-da-da-da-da. And then what has Marjorie done since then? Marjorie then went and bought an estate in Costa Rica, and she's leaving. So congratulations. You helped launder, not you per se, but you helped launder her reputation because all she did was start to say some sweet words, and you were willing to listen to her all of a sudden. It made her some money, and then she dipped.
Yeah, and then we forgot all about when she chased David Hogg down when he was underage.
All's forgiven. All's forgiven. She's doing better now.
Jewish laser beams was responsible for we forgot that one of her staffers said that she consistently uses the N-word. We forgot about her protesting outside AOC's office. Because she's and you're right.
We forgot about her dehumanizing the only openly trans member of Congress. It doesn't matter. She started saying nice things today. And so we're going to forgive all of that because she's had a revelation. And so that allows them to come in, grift off of us, grift off of their team, get the money, and run out of town. But we keep doing it.
We did the same thing with Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney is a huge example. And right now they're doing it with Tucker as we speak.
They've been doing that with Tucker.
Well, but I'm saying Tucker and Megan,
Candace
whatever
Owens.
her name is. Candace can never quite stay sane long enough. but
she's sounding more sane. Like, have you heard her lately?
I don't. So here, okay, now this is where I will openly admit that I don't trust myself when it comes to Candace, because one, I am highly partial to the Black community. I don't automatically make you an enemy because you're a conservative Black person. I don't think that that's constructive. I think for the movement in the world that I want to elevate our presence in, that we need Black people in all spaces. We need leftists,
Right.
we need Marxists, we need all of what happened, but we need all of them, right? So,
I was playing around my screens.
oh, you good. So in that respect, I'm fine with Candace being where Candace is. But I'm conflicted, and this is so ignorant and basic, and I'm ashamed of myself because I try to be very well thought through on things. But I think that she is drop dead gorgeous. I think that she is the anti who's the one to name who married?
Oh, she's not ugly. She is not
Yeah.
ugly at all.
What's the girl? What's the lady who married D Wade?
Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle
and they
Union.
do look
So
alike.
she's the evil
They do
Gabrielle.
look alike.
She's the
They
evil
do
Gabrielle.
look alike.
I'm just saying.
Hey,
So that gets
yeah,
me in this
Candace is
weird
not.
place because
That's
it's
how I
like
feel about Byron Donalds. Like aesthetically
he's
speaking,
not an ugly guy,
Byron Donalds is not ugly.
but he's a
Would I
horrible
date
person.
Byron Donalds? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Right. So
But
that's
I
how
mean,
I
if I'm
kind of
just
feel about
looking
Candace.
and I just
But
got eyes.
yeah, but I notice she's not on my wavelength, right? Like she does a lot of like blame the Jews for everything, and I'm just like the issues that we dealing with is so big. I'm not. That's not my fight. Okay. So I don't get down with the word anti-Semitism. Not to go off too far off into the weeds, I don't like that term because to me it allowed the Jewish community to trademark a term that doesn't even truly belong to them because
I'm like,
they're
I'm
not
not
the only
Semitic.
Semites.
Yeah, you're not. Palestinians are Semites.
Right. So I mean, even let's just say that the Jewish community, the ones that are in Israel, are Semitic, and let's say the Palestinians are Semitic, and let's say the Gazans are Semitic. That means I can't be anti-Semitic if I support Semites. Like it doesn't. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
But
they
because
want to
you've been able to
separate it.
trademark it,
Yeah, but I
But
think that's it. We are guilty of and I'm in 100% step because I found myself doing it. I'm like, well, no, Tracy, this lady chased down David Hogg after he was shot. She chased him down and
yes,
harassed him, and the right
after he
was
watched
y'all
his
wasn't
friends
okay
be
with that.
murdered.
He literally watched his friends be murdered. She chased him down. And so now she's against Trump, and now she gets to be in the club.
Right.
Same thing. That's the same point I made with Thomas Massey. I said it. I said,
Yeah,
this
once
man
an
is
enemy, always an
horrible.
enemy. I'm good.
He's horrible. He's awful on affirmative action. He's awful on reparations. He's
He's awful
awful
on
on
women's rights.
women's. Like, he's awful. Just because he himself said, I agree with Trump 90% of the time.
Hmm.
And you mad he lost?
Yeah.
You're
And so
mad.
and maybe this will help because like there's been some disagreement with like between me and Nelson, for example, and things like that. But I think a lot of the disagreement that people may find with me is that they think that I play red and blue politics, and I don't. My politics are Black. And once you step outside of my politics being Black, then my politics are American. That's how I come into this thing. So that's why I can say, no, you're wrong about Obama in these respects, and you're right about Obama in these respects. No, you're looking at Trump, I think, the wrong way. This is what I see is really happening with Trump. This is where a lot of times it gets mixed because if you don't understand the lens I'm coming from, you'll be like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound consistent with a leftist, or that doesn't sound consistent with a Democrat. And it's not going to, because I am moving in what I perceive to be a very specific strategic way. So when I look at someone like a Marjorie And I think the better example will be Candace. For me, despite how conflicted I am on a very aesthetic and superficial level, because that's all it is. It's very superficial. Okay. I have identified her as being an opponent, an obstacle to what I want for my people and for my country. And such, I don't care what she says. It doesn't matter. She can agree with me or disagree with me. It doesn't matter. She's gone.
I agree with you. And I think that's on the level we need to do, and me too. It's just because somebody comes out against Trump doesn't necessarily put them on the same team as me. We may not be. It's good that you're against Trump because the man is a dictator, narcissist, homophobic, xenophobic, all those phobics.
Pick your
right?
reason.
But we just, our hatred of Trump is so intense. It's like we'll just pick anybody. They could literally, like Tucker Carlson. This man is obsessed with Obama's sexuality. Why? Tucker, it's not your business. Shut up.
We are so desperate for someone to validate us. And see, that's one of the big differences. The difference between me and a lot of people. I don't need you to validate me. I'm okay if you don't agree.
That's what it is. We think, oh, we can talk if we just talk to them. No, ain't no talking to MAGA. No. They gone. Y'all, they gone. Stop trying to get them. Stop trying to get them.
The ones that you could get have already left MAGA. The ones who are still there after all these years, there's no getting them. They ain't going
nowhere.
They're your opposition. Now conduct yourself accordingly.
And, I don't like to call other podcasts out. Well, I'll just call them, I can't even use their initials. They come in because I'll be naming them because I don't put down other podcasters. But there's this one channel that has like 6 million subscribers. And they did the same thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is y'all going to talk about what she said? Is y'all going to, we're going to just ignore all of that? It got to the point, that's another mistake Kamala made during the campaign. Who told her the campaign with Liz Cheney was a good idea? That's the dumbest idea. Dumb.
She did. And I'm not. So first of all, I'm not caping for the Democrats, people. What I'm doing is I'm pushing back against. I'm saying I'm pushing back against weak arguments. If you're not coming with a real argument and you're not coming with a well-founded execution, then no one should agree with you. You're just venting. So who cares what you feel if you're not able to help lead someone somewhere? So the thing I say that to say what I'm about to say about Kamala. If Kamala has stayed on course the way she was moving, even with the handicaps that Biden, right? Even with the handicaps that Biden did to her, because in my opinion, Biden literally held her back, gave her the worst assignments you could possibly give somebody, and then kept her out of the limelight as much as possible because she was so well spoken and because she thinks so well and because she could portray her arguments so well. He felt threatened. So he made sure she stayed in the shadows the whole time.
He's not a brilliant man, but
exactly. He is a decent man, but he's a better politician. He's a better politician. But the problem is,
better politician than a pragmatic.
Right, but Kamala is better than him. So he was not going to let her have any more light than he could possibly muster, right? So he handicapped her career there. Then he waits to the last minute to try to hand over the reins, but that's only because he was forced to. So then she has a short period to run. And in the beginning, she did exactly what she was supposed to do. She appealed to the right people. She had the right message. If she had stayed there,
just kept that, we'd be having a whole different conversation.
But as soon as she started to catch fire, as soon as the grassroots were like, I'm not really a big fan of her, but I can take her, right? As soon as that happened, what happened? The Democratic machine took over. Now all of a sudden we
And
got Liz Cheney. You trying to go chase the magical crossover Republican?
yeah, the crossover, it don't exist. And I heard some on the Roland Martin show. That one I will call out. And one of the guys was like,
Well,
"Well,
he's a
white women
Democratic
vote."
plant, in my view. But yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only person that thinks that. But the guy, not Roland, but another guy that's on there a lot, was like, "Oh, well, white women voted Republican." That's what they've been doing.
They always
White
do.
women have always voted Republican.
They always
They
come home.
always do that. What are you shocked about? You thought you
Oh,
was
Tracy
gonna
just
get
froze
them?
on us. But yeah, I agree.
Like you was out here thinking you gonna get the white woman vote. Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah. The white women always come home. And
They
this
do.
is well, I wish people would think this through. Okay. White women coming back to the Republican Party, despite the fact that the Republican Party wants to remove their rights to vote. The Republican Party wants to make sure that they can't have an abortion, even if it's risking their lives. The Republican Party wants to reduce their abilities to climb as high in the corporate ladder as they may individually desire
Doesn't want
to.
them to serve in the
Right?
military.
Doesn't want them in the military. It wants to redefine them to a period of time where your ability to rise was dictated by a man. Okay. Despite all of that, here's why white women always come back. Despite all of that, who are the mothers of white men?
White women.
So if, and as a parent, you want more for your child than even you have, despite how much you may want. So your white son, do you want to put any curbs on his ability to have as much as possible? No.
Nope.
And when your white daughter grows up, who do you want her to marry? You want her to marry a white man. So
because if she
they
showed with a
always come home.
Negro, it's all over.
Well, it's not even just that. I mean, that's true. But what I'm saying is nearly every other group functions within their identity. We do not. We, as Black people, function very much as independent contractors. So, and there's a reason for it, because up until Obama, we didn't have a Black president that we could try to vote for. So Jesse Jackson, but yeah. Shirley Chisholm couldn't get past the primaries, right? So we are pragmatic voters. We've only had the vote for 60 years. We've learned that we have to play this weird kind of game. I think we learned the wrong lessons, but that's irrelevant. But that's why we move how we move. White folks have always had to vote.
Yep.
White women were a little late to it, but
white women didn't get it till 1920.
1920. That's still 40 years before you would have. Okay. And then on top of that, they have always been attached to the white man.
To a man.
So if the white man can rise as high as possible, not just by his merits, but also by his fact of being in existence and being a privileged class, she goes right along with him.
Yep. She don't get left behind.
So she's going to come home. The white women who don't come back home and vote for Republicans are overwhelmingly women who fall into one of the left categories.
Right. That's exactly right. I'm like, why is y'all surprised? White women have always voted Republican. There's never been a time, and surprisingly, Kamala got a huge percentage of white women voters, which I was even surprised. I was like, she got that large of a percent.
Left, but then most of them were left white women. First of all, the same ones who show up to vote for us all the time. And then two, there was a good crossover percentage because they were like, it's a woman. So there were women who were willing to vote for Kamala, regardless of her politics, because she's a woman.
She's a woman, yep.
But you have leakage, though. You got a lot of leakage because in the church community, find your denomination, plug in here, it's a problem putting white women in authority like that. So America is very still stuck back there.
You mean Black?
It wasn't just the Black churches, it was white churches too. The fact of
they
putting a woman in charge was like, no.
Yeah, it's in the Bible. Show me the scripture, please. Show it to me.
Well, we had that conversation, right? So
we had that conversation. Exactly.
So you have that going on. So Kamala had a lot against her. And I think it's unfair to blame. So hear me out, because it's going to sound like doublespeak. I think it's unfair to blame non-voters and third-party voters for Kamala losing if you're just going to stop there, because it lets off the hook everybody who actually voted for Trump. See, to me, everybody who actually voted for Trump, they're the problem. They looked at this candidate and said, doesn't matter that he's got a conviction for sexual assault. Doesn't matter
34
that
of
he's
them.
got all these corruption charges. Doesn't matter that he can't even run a charity because he's been convicted of that too. Doesn't matter. Right? All these things they had to literally look at
They
and then
didn't
look
pick-
away. Okay.
As long as he was speaking the racist language, they were okay with
As
it.
long as he wasn't a Democrat. As long as he was white, male, and not a Democrat. And then it helped that he was rich. Because if you're rich as an American, and this is where a lot of black people that did vote for Trump kind of fall into the bucket. If you're rich, somehow people think that there's some moral value
in wealth
to that, right? So that's how Trump was able to. So that's what I'm saying. The
Even if-
people who positively voted for him are the biggest problem of
I think
everybody.
you're missing this, and then we're gonna end the show because we went 2 hours and 27 minutes. Trump did everything the man said in his campaign was a lie. Let me just say that. Trump ran on no more wars.
He didn't mean it.
No, that's why I started the whole conversation off saying everything he says is a lie. He ran on what I would call a populist message. He ran on a populist platform. Now, did he do any of those populist platforms? Absolutely not. He ran his first campaign, he definitely was running as a populist. But then he came back and he started talking about America first. He started talking about more money at home, less money on wars. And of course, he's done the opposite. But that message of no more wars and America first appeals to MAGA. Because think about it, that group of MAGA, the uneducated, no, I'm not going to say uneducated, the undereducated white male that voted for Trump, they don't want their money going towards wars. They want that money going towards war to stay here in the United States.
I don't think that that's what motivated the
I
lion's share.
think that's what because what he ran on, it was a totally populist message.
But hear me out though. I think that yes, he ran on a populist message because what he did first term and second term was he looked at the people that the Democratic Party oftentimes looks down on and said, I see you. And
right.
And you're
that
not wrong
non-college
for feeling
educated
how you
person.
feel. But there are a lot of college educated people and leaders. Look at all the leaders of industry that follow Trump. So it's not just uneducated people. So he said, I see you. But what he really was saying through the entire time was that I am going to restore the shine and the value of being white. That's what he was selling to them. And so he didn't have to say it that way. He was able to use coded language. He painted this make America great again, right? That's an emotional pull back to the 50s before civil rights. He would oftentimes, or the people around him would oftentimes reframe what women were going to do. Because he even was like, well, a woman will be able to come home and take care of her family and one household income again and blah, blah, blah. The code in that was, ladies, you about to lose your job, right? But what he was presenting to them was this feeling. It was a feeling. It was the caste system.
It wasn't as bad when the Negroes couldn't vote. When they couldn't vote, we had it made.
And this is one of the reasons why I get so frustrated a lot of times with our community, because we don't understand and respect our history. Because if we did, then it wouldn't have mattered all of that. We would have heard it, and most of us did pick up on it, which is why we didn't vote that way. but all the bells were ringing, and somehow he was able to win. And the reason why is because the Midwest states, which are heavily white population, they have been labeled casually as flyover country. They've been labeled casually as God's country. They have been labeled casually as the breadbasket of America. All of these things kind of paint a picture of you not being seen as a person and not being valued, just being used. So we don't live in those areas. One, because it's really hostile. Well, no, hear me out. There are Black people everywhere, but we're concentrated in the same areas. We're concentrated where economic opportunity is greatest for us. Those of us who are not living in any form of poverty, for the most part, we are living in major cities and major metropolitan areas.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but
so
I was talking about when you said flyover country.
Right. But let's just be real. When we say flyover, and I'm saying when we say flyover country and we say breadbasket of America, we ain't thinking about Black folks.
No, never have been.
Like you don't even exist. Like you literally, you don't exist in the thought process of how the game is played. They are talking about white people. It brings back a vision of Dorothy and stuff like that, you know? So he was able to bring these people out. I don't blame him for doing it. I know that he was lying. Everything in his history shows he was lying. But when you're desperate, you grasp on anything. And see, Black folks, we're desperate politically. So that's why we keep buying what the Democrats say, because we're desperate to be like, well, this time they're going to do it right. This time they're going to do something for us. Right. Yeah, and it's not. No,
and I've always said, yeah, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I've always said this. If you one of them people that you just gonna vote blue no matter who, at least hold them accountable.
Or try
at least do that. At least. I mean, you know me, Tracy's going third party straight come general. I did vote in the primary, but that was because somebody in my church was running, and I promised them I vote, and I delivered on what I said I was going to deliver on. That's the only reason I showed up to the primary. But
I would even, and I know we need to wrap, but your approach doesn't serve a real purpose either.
No, that because I really had thought, no, I'm not gonna vote. It didn't, because I only literally voted for a few offices. I only voted for, okay, I'm like, I know this person, I know this, I know several people on the ballot. They all just happen to be Democrat, because you had to, in Indiana, you got to declare whether you're Democrat or Republican. But I did it. Am I proud that do I wish we had an open primary where independents could be on there too?
But we don't have that world.
I know, right. I wish it was more like California, where you could just take the two top people and they face off in November. We call it a day. That's what I wish we had, but we don't. But what I'm saying is, if you have determined in your mind, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, I'm gonna vote Democrat. I'm gonna be Democrat. I'm gonna go to the conventions. I'm gonna go to hold them accountable.
So here's, I hear you, but now I got to challenge it some. Now, I think that most people vote Democratic because they're afraid of losing. Not because they actually want to win, but because they're afraid of losing. It's not the same thing, right? It's kind of like the Christian who claims to be a Christian, but they're only a Christian because they're afraid of going to hell. They're not a Christian because they love God, they love Jesus, and they follow them. It's because if I don't believe in God, then I'm going to go to hell, right? You're not, like, you join the club, but for the wrong reason.
Not for the right reason. Yeah, the wrong reason.
Right. So I think that that's where a lot of Democrats are, is because I can't vote for a Republican. They're aggressively against me and the people I care about. And so I guess that means I have to vote Democrat. And then we say, well, you need to, use some leverage, make them do something. But you can't use leverage because you don't interact with anybody else. You don't bond together and build little bases of power within the party. You just kind of go vote and hope that you're on a winning team. Congrats, you did nothing, right? And for that reason, they're not going to give you anything either. All right, they're going to give you just enough to hopefully not make you leave. But they know the odds of you leaving is very small because the
It's very
alternative
small because once
is those guys.
and that's why they stopped trying. They know they
Yes,
have the black
agreed.
vote. They're like,
100%.
oh well, we ain't got to work for this
I agree.
because they
But
know that.
then
for
the next
majority,
part, though, is third party people will say, then you should vote third party. Well, what can you deliver for me? You can't deliver anything for me. You got too many third parties out there. Nobody has a chance of winning anything. You haven't shown me that you can win anything. And you don't even have a full plan for if you did win something. So why should I vote for you? So you know what happens next? You become a non-voter. Because you don't want to vote blue. You don't want to vote red. Third party is a complete waste of your time. Because if you wanted to just throw a vote out there, you vote Democrat, right? If you just want to throw one out there. So the game, in my view, is third parties. And you've heard this before, but I know we're wrapping up, so I'm just going to say it. Third parties need to get serious about building a third party that is more representative of the wider country and has a real plan for how you will govern in a difficult environment where the two main parties will fight you every step of the way as you're trying to get stronger. So you got to do that. And then the Democrats, now for the Democrats, same general thing. They have to look at the Republicans and say, what did MAGA do right? What MAGA did right was he spoke to the forgotten person. Democrats, you need to speak not to Republicans. Stop chasing Republicans.
They're not going to come and vote for you.
If the Democrats want to win and win like over and over and over and over again, they need to absorb third parties. They need to absorb independents. They need to give non-voters a reason to vote for them. They need to integrate. I'm not a big fan of the word integration, but you got to integrate all these things. And all of a sudden, you know what happens? Third parties, really, they cease to exist because I don't need them anymore. Because now I have a seat at the actual table. Democrats refuse to give you a seat at the table. So Democrats, you're not going to listen to me. But you need to invite the third parties in. You need to stop being so corrupt that you can't allow new ideas to help reshape the party, to help lead the country in another direction. And because I know the Democrat Party is not capable of doing it, the Democratic Party needs to go away. It needs to fall apart.
And
it needs to go away.
I agree. But here's the last thing I will say, and we will wrap up. Because y'all have heard me say, I was wrong about Mendami. I'm willing to say it. In his case, I want to be wrong. Do you know how much I want to be wrong about the things that I think and feel and understand? I want, and I think Scott and I talked about this when he was on. Why can't you have government-owned grocery stores and food deserts in Indiana? We have them, period. Yeah, why can't you have them, period? Why can't you have free child care? How come you can't have that? But because the Democratic establishment is the Democratic establishment and they ain't going nowhere.
Their donors would not benefit from that.
Exactly. And that's what I'm like, yeah. But again, I'm a person, I'm willing to say, hey, I was wrong about it. Because I've never seen a mayor get so much done. I'm like, dang, this dude is out here flying gates.
I think that he is setting an excellent example. It is not it is not repeatable across the country, but a version of it is, right? Absolutely. Based on your community trend. So that's where I laid out my third party plan comes from, right? There's no reason. Like, first, I'll frame it this way. America needs to invest in America. All right?
Absolutely.
And investing in America does not mean that there won't be, we got a lot of settling up you need to do. Okay. America they owe black folks stuff. They owe Asian folks. So they owe everybody something. Okay. But everybody's had a chance to sit at the table and get something except for the black people. So you need to get right by us. Okay.
And indigenous people.
No, they just violated all the treaties with the indigenous people. And that's a larger conversation, but I get what you're going. But I'm even going to say the reparations problem or solution, that is still secondary to what I am talking about right now. I'm saying right now we need to focus on America. So that means you need to invest in rural areas, you need to invest in food deserts. Like, to me, having government-owned grocery stores does not take away from private-owned grocery stores from existing.
Nope.
Right? Everybody, like, we got what is it? Where I live at, we have a place called like Food Depot, right? The most general name you could ever have for a grocery store. That's the poor grocery store. You walk in there, ain't no bells, no whistles, no nothing. But the food is the same food. So if you go in there, that would be like your government-owned grocery store. Very basic, has everything you need. Keep up with your food standards. Go buy what you need to do. It does not hurt Kroger at all. But it is America investing in its people, making sure that affordable food, affordable, safe food is there. Same way I would position universal health care. It's not some leftist dream. It is something that as an American, you should be entitled to as a perk of being an American citizen. This ain't about left. It ain't about right. It ain't about progressive. It ain't about conservative. It's about you are an American and your health being good helps the nation. Because if you're healthy, you can be a teacher. If you're healthy, you can be a doctor. If you're healthy, you can work at the grocery store or wherever you might work. But if you're sick, guess who ain't showing up for work?
Yep. And now I will wrap up. Thank you all so much again, Theus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do want to make a correction for the drama camp, and I talked about this at the beginning. We are now, thanks to some insight from a person who I talked to at church, we are now a drama academy. So what that means is we're not just concentrating on the summer anymore. Now we're going to encompass a whole year schedule.
Awesome. Congrats.
And so now that vision expands. And so that means our money capacity is going to have to expand. So in the next couple of days, I will be getting a new link up. It'll still be that bit.ly, and you'll be able to donate directly there. And now the goal goes from 3,500 to 7,000. So now we're doubling what it is that we're saying. And we're also moving the date of the production. We had said that it was going to be August the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Now it will be September the 4th, September the 5th, September the 6th. And then we'll just keep moving. So I'll be talking. Hopefully, I will get like the production staff to appear on the podcast on a special one. So we can talk about this more, but I wanted to make sure you all were aware. Yes, you can still make your contributions, but we've now expanded what we're going to do because our children need. I'm tired of hearing parents talk about it's not for my child to do. Well, in Indianapolis, Indiana, there is now a drama academy that your child can be a part of. We just ask a couple things from parents, but we've already had our orientation for our parents. I pre-tape that, so I'll be able to get that. So that's what I wanted to get to, just to make that announcement. So I will be here August the 16th, and the reason I'm bringing that up is because we all know June is Black Music Month.
I didn't know that.
And usually I do some type of form on Black Americans, and I did not do it in June. But I'm going to do it in August. And here's what I want to do. And I'll talk about what I want to do. So last year, if you all watched, I did a forum with myself and 4 other of my sisters from other misters, and we basically talked about issues facing Black female voters. I want to do the same thing, but this time I want to do with Black male voters. So you won't see me on that show. I'm getting it together. I'm trying to get my guests like in my head who I can ask. Because again, the person who I want to host is no longer with us. And I want to cry, but I'm not going to. He's not here to do that. So now I got to really think about who it is I want. So you not gonna see me on that program, but I'm still gonna do it. But it's gonna be August the 16th. That's the date. So the date's already determined. It'll be Sunday, um, August the 16th at probably 6 p.m. so we can have lunch, so the men can have their discussion. This is something I want to do, but I just got to think about who it is I want. Remember, finally, to there are 82 days left until the NFL season starts. 82 days. The Hall of Fame game is August the 16th. Oh no, August the 6th. August the 6th. That I don't care who it is. It could be Jets versus Giants. Jets versus at this point, I watch the Arizona Cardinals play the Seattle Seahawks. I don't care anymore. Those 82 days have got to get here because I can't with no more side. I can't. I cannot. 82 days until football comes back. Remember to have Theus tell where we can find him.
So what you see on the screen is Our United Core. That is my community development organization. There's not going to be any real content for you. Yes, I do have a YouTube page, but I haven't put anything on there in quite some time. Best place to find me, Complex Mind, Simple Man on YouTube. We have, mainly right now, like every Friday, we go live. Sometimes I miss it, but that's where you'll find me. Complex Mind, Simple Man. It's just, I've been working in OUC this today, so that's why I'm how I am.
And remember to subscribe to Theus's channel. Subscribe to his channel, please. And I keep forgetting to put your link there. I'll do that next week, even if you're not on. But remember, for me, we are 70, we are at 426. Y'all, we inching right up to that 500. We right there. We right there. We right there, and I can grab it. I can do that 500 subscriber show that I got in mind in my head to do, but I can't do it till we get there. So remember, like, share, comment, subscribe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. One more time. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Make this week the week that you make some type of impact on your community. Do something. I don't work at a soup kit. Do something. Make an impact on your community.
If I may,
because we need.
As my closing message to anybody who comes across this video or is watching this video right now, it is time to put your actions behind your words. Okay? We've been saying all the things that we say, but we're not, but many of us are not doing anything. And you don't have to do anything huge. If you're passionate about your community, however you define your community, you know how I define mine. Then an easy first step, the easiest thing you can do to help is money. It's literally the easiest thing. So please go to the comment section. There is a link for the drama theater. Please, folks, it just $5. Let me tell you what $5 does.
Tell them.
$5 does not pay for the theater program. $5 does not pay for a child to have their costume and their materials. $5 won't even truly feed more than one kid at camp that day. But here's what $5 does do. It did feed that one kid. That $5 also tells the church that this is a program that the community supports. So that keeps it going. So if nothing else, please vote with your dollars. This is a local way, even if it's not local to you, it's local to your interests. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Please click the link, donate $5, donate more if your heart presents that to you or you have the ability. But please, guys, just that little bit.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate your support. I really do. It's not an easy endeavor, especially for somebody uh, being a non-parent. I'm not around children as much as everybody else. Y'all know I told the original story. My intention was to work with senior citizens, and that didn't work. So I said, okay, we'll do it this way. I'm not one to give up. If this doesn't work, I'll do something else. Well, I'm going to always stay in the theater realm because I think the arts is just a way to make a difference. Everything Thea said, everything. But like I said, let me go up here. Well, the link is in the description section. It's in the description section. But thank you, Thea. Thank you. We may argue, we may fight, but you're still my brother.
Thank you.
You're my little brother.
Hey, this frustrates people when they interact with me, but I'm not trying to make you agree. I'm not trying to make you or anybody else agree with me.
I know that, but we go at it.
I'm saying it for everybody. I'm saying this for everybody. You and I, we got our relationship. We good. But it's important to understand that about me. I welcome you disagreeing with me. I welcome you pushing back. I love it. I'm starved for it because so few people will put together a real thought or argument to work with me on, because that's the only way we break through to the next step. So I love it. I'm not trying to make you agree with me. I could care less if you ever agree with me. But
yep. But we will have an interview on Thursday. If you don't watch any of the Tracy shows, come on Thursday at 7:00. We've got a candidate. I've never heard a candidate say something that I'm like, you really said that out loud? I thought I was the only one that thought that way. You're going to really, really love it. And remember, that comes on Thursday at 7. And of course, Saturday, I'm visiting an old topic, but it's some TV shows. I don't understand how they got. I'm just sitting here, like, really? Y'all was really thinking this? Y'all really thought this was going to work? Y'all know me, I'll go back to old topics. But since it's almost 10 o'clock, I'm going to say thank you. See you all Thursday. Have a good week. I will see you on Thursday at 7:00 p.m. Have a great one. Bye-bye.